What's going on, everyone? Are you a big brother, Fred? As you can see, I had my first child. I cannot be any more proud of anything that I've done in life. That's an amazing experience. I don't want to give too much about him. I want to keep him as kind of private. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am now a father. One of the proudest moments of my life. One of the most accomplishing things that I've had happen. But yeah, so anyways, today we're going to be working on this thing. This bin right here is actually empty. I'll show you guys as we get going here. But my plan, I wanted to put oxygen and acetylene tanks in that bin. Sadly, that bin is a little too short depth-wise to fit the oxygen tank that I have. So my original plan was I was going to cut the bottom out of the floor and like box in the floor, drop it down. But after measuring everything, I'd have to cut the floor out and drop it down 10 inches, and that just wouldn't look right. So what we're going to end up doing is actually the oxygen tank you can lay down on their side. So what I'm going to do is put the oxygen tank in this bin right here, and there's a wall right there. I'm going to cut that wall out and have that oxygen tank poking out, and then I'll have the acetylene tank in there, and then I can put all my oxygen and acetylene tank, or put all my my hoses for the tanks in there, and a couple other things, and actually have that bin usable. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a shelf for that side bin, and put all my power tools and just kind of organize the truck a little bit more. For any of you guys that do have a utility truck, service truck, whatever you want to call them, when you first set them up, you think that the setup that you have is the best that you could ever have, but as you use the truck and kind of learn you kind of learn what's going to work best. So all right, let's get going on this and get something set up. I did want to have some videos posted before my son came, but he changed the plans for that. So sorry for the delay and the hiatus, the couple days without a video here. But for me, my family is going to take priority over everything else. So we're gonna get back to it. Let's keep this train rolling. Oh, also, the day that my son was born, we hit 30,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that, and thank you. All right, so we're gonna get this thing all unlocked. I have read a couple comments wondering why I lock all my bins, like religiously, even if I'm leaving the truck for 5 minutes. Reason for that is I got a lot of money invested in tools sitting in this truck. Second reason is obviously my truck and my equipment is more into the public eye, so there's a lot of people that know what's in this truck. I may not have shown like everything that's in there, but it's just a personal preference of mine to keep this thing locked up. There's thousands of dollars worth of tools in here. And like I said, with it being in the public eye, I just don't know, what strangers' intentions are with this thing. So the goal for me is to keep it locked. I actually plan on eventually here making the locks a little bit better on this truck as well. It's just kind of a nervous feeling for me knowing that a lot of people know what kind of tools I'm carrying with me and so on. So that is the reason for locking this thing up constantly like that. But yeah, so we're gonna get this thing all unloaded, or get this bin emptied out here. And I'd like to get that oxygen tank in here and just utilize as much possible room that I have in this truck. In my opinion, be the ultimate utility truck. The only thing that I would change about this truck and this setup is I would love to have a crane, a side mounted crane on this thing. But at the same time, I have my skid loader, I have my loader, you know, stuff for lifting like that. So, and this is also business slash personal use truck, so it's nice to have it kind of set up kind of discreetly, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, so actually, well, I got this bin emptied out and everything too. I'm gonna sweep and clean this out. This is that wall that I was telling you that I'm gonna punch out so that way the tank can fit in here. And another thing that I'd like to do is, like I said, vacuum this all out and put some carpet down there. The reason for putting the carpet down is I don't want to ruin the oxygen tank. You know, with the thing just running down the road and scratching the paint off. I've made the mistake before where I've had a tank and it got scratched, and the gas company said, nope, not today. We will not take that tank, and I had to buy another tank. And so carpets, I actually have some old carpet laying around, so I'm gonna fill this bin up with some carpet and try to save myself the headache of spending more money. All right, let's get our carpet cut. I actually have, yes, some small rolls back here, and this stuff's a little bit more durable than that other rug that I got going there. This carpet doesn't have to be perfect, so we're not going to do a straight edge or anything like that. We're just going to kind of eyeball this. That should work out great. So I'm going to take this carpet out here before I start making some sparks. I'm going to go grab my oxygen tank and just kind of get an idea of where I want this and how I want it. For any of you guys that can walk these tanks, you guys make that look so easy, especially when you got like 2 of them going. I don't know how you guys do it. I've tried and tried, and sometimes I just get irritated and pick the thing up and just carry it because it's quicker for me. So yeah, the idea for me is to get it just to make a big enough hole for the top of that tank to slide through, and then just fit in here, and then make something to hold the tank in place, and then make a shelf in here for everything. So let's get to it. Originally, I was thinking about just cutting out this entire section, but I guess I don't want to do that anymore, because what I was going to plan on doing was putting 2 tanks side by side, but I don't know. I don't use the torches enough. So if I was a full-time welding rig, yes, I'd have more tanks in here, but I'm just setting this truck up to be like, when I'm on a job, I have just about everything I need to fix something if something were to happen. If I need more, I have more, you know, I have extra tanks and everything sitting here at home. The idea of this truck is if something breaks, I can get it, you know, patched back together enough to limp it back home or whatever the case may be. Pretty much the gist of that. And then I'm just going to go like this, run the top of the tank. This is going to be a taller, obviously when I cut it, it's going to be a little bit higher than the tank itself, because it is sitting on a ledge about 1 inch. So, and the goal is just to get the valve head through the other side there. Pretty much just to the bottom of these holes there. I'm just gonna make a quick mark, and then I think if I were to go about this size, let's make sure this is level, square. So yeah, pretty much I'm just gonna be punching that corner out right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Okie dokie, got that pocket cut out. Let's get our carpet in there. See how that tank makes it in there now. Oh boy, problems with doing 2 cameras. One always gets in the way. So let's see here. Probably, yeah, I'm gonna try to cut this down here at this neck. I'm gonna cut that down a little bit lower. Let's see here actually. No, I think I might keep that there, because then that gives me I guess the only thing that I would change here is I'm gonna put something around that. I'm gonna obviously get the grinder and smooth that out, but then I'll get some like old gas line or like rubber hose and glue it around that edge there, so there's not a sharp edge around that tank. But yeah, that's pretty much what I was shooting for. I can still get some tools in right here, and then I'm gonna build a shelf like just above this thing to get tools there. So right on, I like that. I got some old garden hose that I had laying around. That'll work out pretty good for doing that. Somewhat of a measurement here, something like that. And I don't think we need, obviously there's no need for one on top, but definitely on the bottom and on the sides. So this garden hose should work out pretty slick for that. Nothing like having a sharp razor knife, eh? Yeah, that's nice. That way you don't have to worry about it getting all scratched up the heck on a sharp edge there. I like it. The only thing I gotta figure out is how I want to like actually mount the tank so it's solid in there. Kind of thinking of, you know, possibly something. Ideally what I'd like to do is get a ratchet strap, like, and just weld one of these hooks there, and then this just down. But sadly this ratchet strap that I have is too long, and what I mean by too long is this end right here, you can't choke it up far enough because it's got this it's sewed right there, so that is not going to work, sadly. So for the time being, we'll just make do with what we got here and kind of just keep plugging along here. I think what would help me figure this out on how I want to tie it down is get the shelf in here and see where the shelf lies, so that way I can know for sure where I can, you know, mount this tank down. So we're gonna get some measurements here and get a piece cut for that. I only have 1/4 inch steel here at the house, which is pretty thick for, you know, just making a shelf in a bin here. But it's what I have, and it's one of these things that I wanted to get done while I wasn't really working because of my son. It's just spending some time at the house here with my wife, just helping out as needed. So that looks like 44 and 15/16. 44 and 15/16 by, we're just gonna go a little short on this shelf. Let me write 44 and 15/16 down before I forget that. 44 and 15/16, because my mind does not retain numbers. And then we're just gonna make this a we're gonna say a 11.5 inch shelf by 11 1/2. So yeah, we'll get our steel out here, get a piece cut, grab a square and a straight edge, make our lines, and grab our steel cutting saw. When I say the steel cutting saw makes a lot of noise, man, do they ever. I'm actually gonna go grab a pencil because this marker is not ink soling everything. I've had a couple of these ink sol markers, and I don't know. I don't think they're all cracked up to what their claim of fame is. Just go to the classic pencil here and make our marks that way. That's a way better looking line, in my opinion. Unbury our side bin here. This is kind of my junk drawer on the truck. Pretty much stuff that I don't use daily comes and hangs out in this bin. Well, that's just how that goes. I didn't realize that the blade was junk on that. So, how are we going to do this now? I think what I'm going to do is actually fire up the torches and cut this out with the torches. I didn't want to do that because then it makes kind of a goobering cut. Kind of a crappy cut, but that's what I got for now, so we're going to make do with that. Let there be fire. Alright, see how poorly that thing fits in there now because I had to cut it with a torch. Kind of stinks, but that's just part of it. Sometimes you just gotta make do with what you got and deal with it, you know. First, we're probably gonna let that cool off. Well, probably gonna put my tailgate down here and grind off any of the goobers that are on there before I even try making it fit. But first, I need to get some pliers to lift that thing up. Probably a screwdriver too to get underneath it first. Okay, so that's done. Let's get some mittens on. I'm sure that thing's still kind of toasty, and kind of give this thing a test fit, and then if it fits, it ships. Kidding. If it fits, so we'll get that tacked in there and go from there. I gotta say, one of the best things I did to this truck was obviously the utility box, but putting that vise on there, I don't know how people can go through life without a vise. They are an amazing tool to have. So let's see how this thing fits. see if I measured right. Snug as a bug on a rug. Which is exactly what I wanted. So let's see here. How do I want to get this thing in there? Or not, how do I want to get this thing in there, because obviously it's in there, but what spacers, what can I use as a spacer to hold it in place while I get this in there? The one thing I can think of is if I got a 2x4 over there. So yeah, let's get a measurement on how high we want that shelf, and then we'll just shove a 2x4 under each end and hold it up that way. Kind of want, let's see here, would 8 inches be? We'll do 8.5 inches. I think that will be pretty good for what we're trying to do here. So let's get our saw. That's got 2 bars on it, and run over here to our 2x4 collection, which is one of the boards holding up the tongue of this trailer. Perfect. And cut it to 8.5 inches, and that will be our spacer to hold that shelf up. Let's grab my pencil, square, and go from there. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Ha! Oh, am I ridiculous? So what did I say? 8.5, right? Yeah. So 8.5. Make a mark. Perfect. 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 Let's wow. Oh, that hurt my finger. I need a pry bar. I'm weak. Come on. Struggle bus. You know what? I'll just do that. Let's get the welder out here, get this thing tacked in, see if we can still pull that tank in and out, which I don't see why we shouldn't, why we wouldn't be able to, but it's all coming together. Just kind of like how I visioned, besides the minor setbacks of tool difficulties, but that's just part of this. And I'm also very excited about welding this in, because I bought myself a new welder. It is a Millermatic 211, which I am very excited to try out, because the only welder that I have is a engine drive. Obviously, for a small project like this, it just doesn't pay to, you know, fire the thing up and put a couple tack welds in. So I had always wanted one of these, and I finally bit the bullet and got it. And if I'm being completely honest, the reason why I got it is, like I said, I wanted one, but I also wanted to do this project, and I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to buy a welder, right? So we went out and bought one. And I've used it a couple times. I shouldn't say it's like brand new and I haven't used it. Obviously when I bought it I had to try the thing out, so, but I didn't use it on like any actual projects. It was just a piece of scrap steel I had laying around, and just kind of played around with it that way. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about is they say that you can run these off a 110 and 220. I was really hoping with 110 that I would be able to run it off the garage and have enough power, you know, to run with this. But to be completely honest, it doesn't seem like the breakers in my garage can handle it. And then when I plug it into the house, like to an outlet inside the house, I don't get a lot of run time off of it, like maybe 10 minutes before it trips a breaker, which kind of defeats the purpose of running this thing off a 110, in my opinion. You know, a normal house outlet. I'm hoping that's just because the house outlet that I have is just, you know, the service coming to the house just isn't enough for this machine. But I could totally be wrong, and it could just be that this machine needs, you know, it can run off a 110 but not for long. And if that's the case, I kind of got screwed in a sense, because I was really hoping, like I said, I could run it off 110 continuously. Obviously I'm not trying to run, you know, like do some heavy duty welding, but I don't know, it kind of stinks. Okie dokie. Well, I apologize, my camera died. I didn't realize that, and I'm not going to take everything back out there, but that worked out pretty slick. You know, I got my impact, grease gun, saw. I'm glad that I cut this shelf 1.5 inches short, because it actually works out really good for my skill saw. I can set it right there, and when I close the door, it pushes up right against it, so it, you know, it's not going to fall down. Stuff that's behind it isn't going to go all over the place. So I'm pretty thrilled about that. Now I can actually, I have room. I can take all my grinding disc and wheels and everything that I got here and make a home for it inside this bin, because I just the truck was a little unorganized before. Pick up that screw before I forget where that went and make some problems. But before, it was just so unorganized, and I didn't have a good home for the stuff. So now I can put my grinding disc up there. Oh, forgot one, but we're gonna leave that right there. You know, stuff that I'm gonna use kind of more on a regular basis. Works out pretty slick right there. But yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with the way that this is turning out. Something that I'm glad I did. Now the only thing that I want to do before I finish this project up is I actually want to make a hook in here to hang my hoses for my tanks, and then I can hang my extension cord and extension cords and whatever else I may want in there in the future. So this is just going to be kind of like, you know, straps and just loose random stuff, honestly. Anyway, let's make a hook. That's pretty aggressive. Bada bing, bada boom. Get this thing cut, and then get this thing welded in there. Probably grab my welding hood. So you guys are gonna have to take a break here for a second because that ain't working out. Can't see what I'm doing. Maybe I can just hold the welding hood and go from there. Nah, that's not gonna work out. You guys are gonna have to hang on. Okie dokie, there's the hook. Should work out for what I need it to do. Beautiful thing about this is I actually have some tool pouches, and I don't use these like really that often. So first thing that's gonna go on there is I'll use the I'll probably end up using the torches and everything before I even come close to using my pouches. So first things first, those are going to go there. Then I am going to grab all of my torch stuff and hang my torches there, because I'll use extension cords more than that. Everybody has their way of how they organize a truck. I'm just going off of experience and knowing how I want this taken care of, and just to be the most efficient when I'm doing a project. And yeah, for me this is very exciting because I've had some other service trucks, utility trucks, whatever you guys call them, and they've never been anywhere close to being this organized. They were pretty much just a tool bin, and there was the box itself wasn't that big, so the organization really didn't work out that great for me. So what ended up happening every time was, I just had to throw stuff in there and just make do with it, and every time I needed to grab something, I would have to like dig half the truck apart, which it's fine and all, but when you're trying to do things efficiently and look a little bit more professional, when you pull up to a job with a truck that's organized, the homeowner, they're spending quite a bit of money with you. They kind of want to see some organization, because otherwise they're thinking that they're paying you extra for time that you're spending trying to dig and grab tools, and this way just everything's there, and I'm ready to go. I've been wanting these torch tanks in this truck for a long time now, and finally had some time to make this happen, which I am very excited about. Torch hoses are in there. What else do I want to squeeze it? Oh, I want to put my come along in there, because again, it's another one of those tools that's nice to have with you, but you just don't use like every day kind of deal. So slap that in right there. That hook should be plenty, I would think, for this. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't know about you guys, but I always find it fascinating on how other people organize their trucks. I've actually, to be completely honest, I've gotten a couple of my ideas from YouTube videos from other people setting up their trucks that I've watched. So YouTube is a great thing. Okie dokie. Well, you guys seen it. Got that bin organized, that bin's organized. That bin filled up pretty dang quick, but that's good. So we're gonna get this closed up and pack everything up. My son needs a bath, so we're gonna head there, go do that, and then start editing this video for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I always found it fascinating when you start a project, even if it's just like a small little project that in your head should only take you 10 minutes. It always turns out to be a bigger project than what you thought it was going to be. That's just how it always goes. But anyways, that little Miller welder I just found out now, but if you turn the amperage down to, at least this is for my house, but if you turn it down to the 16 gauge, it allows, you can actually weld without it tripping breakers constantly, so that's kind of a plus. You're not welding anything heavy that way, but for a project like this, it works out pretty slick. Do you guys have a certain way that you guys wrap up cords? I always plug the two ends together, kind of hold it short, wrap it all up. You know, folding an extension cord in half, obviously it's less times you gotta fold it. So I do that, then I leave a little tail like this. What I do is I wrap it around and then stick that little tail through, and then that little little eyelet right there, that's all you need to hang it then, so you don't have a big glob of extension cord to try wrapping up. Works out pretty good. That's all my my grandpa taught me, and that's just the way I've done it ever since, obviously. The one thing I like about this little Miller-Matic is that it's so compact and light that you can literally just, I mean, you could pretty much go anywhere with the thing. Some of you guys have been asking what glasses I wear. I honestly did not know. I knew that they were Oakley's, but just made me think about it. They are Oakley frog skins. For me, they are a very comfortable sunglass to wear. They're kind of stylish. But I do like, for any of you guys that know that you working outside, these have the clear frames. You know, the frames side of your face there. The reason why I like that is I used to get some pretty wicked sunglass tan lines. So when I found those, I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. I don't know how well it's going to work with the sunglass tan lines, but I have still the faint one, but nothing crazy like what I used to have. So that's my first pair of those. They're getting pretty worn out and beat up. Eventually I'm going to be replacing those. So for you guys who have been asking, they are Oakley frog skins. All right, anyways guys, that's a wrap on this truck. I'm sure there's going to be more to come with things I want to change. Actually, I do know that there's more things I want to change and update to this. I'd like to add more lighting to it, especially like work lights and backup lights. I do want to put a fuel transfer tank in here for filling up the equipment, and just have that wired up to a switch, so that way I don't, you know, I can just turn a switch on and start pumping. I don't have to have an auxiliary battery or anything like that. But anyways, hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I'm enjoying doing these videos for you guys. It's a neat experience. I've said that multiple times now, but like I said in the beginning of the video, that's amazing that we hit 30,000 subscribers. I didn't think I'd get to that point. But yeah, let's keep this train rolling. Like the video, subscribe, and let's keep going. So anyways, we'll catch you guys on the next one.